Give it a second. It's always that long wait. Okay, it's coming up. All right, we should be live. So, headphones on. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready. I'm doing the neck crank. I like the Dutch, now Robbie, neck crank.
Oh, that does look good. Okay, hang on one second.
Wait, the neck crank?
Yeah, I like the neck crank. I'm just bringing this up now, so before we jump in.
Like, if you're gonna fight a dude and he starts neck crank, and you're like, "Holy cow!"
Yeah, look out. You're gonna get DQ'd. Let me get into this really quickly. I got kicked out. Bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves.
I did think of the question from Akita Khan 80 regarding who would I want on the show, aside from Jean-Claude Van Damme, aside from Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay. Well, no, it wasn't him. It wasn't Akita Khan 80.
It wasn't Akita Khan?
No.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, it's, who I would want on the show, aside from Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
A UFC fighter, maybe known for karate, such as George St. Pierre, or maybe Lyoto Machida, somebody from our era who is known as a karate combatant.
Oh, that was actually Park Runner Tits from the UK. With that.
Yes.
How could you forget? No disrespect to Akita Khan.
Park Runner
Akita
Tits.
Khan 80. Okay, so we are in, and all right, buddy, let's do this.
All right.
Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Cobrakai. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal. We are back for a very triumphant episode, my friend.
Whoa, you're already breaking out.
I'm already breaking it out.
I am going with champagne like it's New Year.
I have scotch, and we are celebrating 100,000 downloads of Let's Talk Cobrakai.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow. I feel I'm very grateful. I have a lot of gratitude. I really do. I feel like we have a lot of people on our side, and I really appreciate that. I really do.
Me too. We could not have done this without fans.
Yeah.
The goal is not numbers, but it's a milestone for us to celebrate. I mean, I remember when we hit 100 and I was elated.
Sure. Yeah.
Or even 1,000. I thought,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then 10,000, I started to raise the bar like, whoa, wait a second. But here we are at 100,000. And I know sometimes a video gets 1 million views, but we're not in that game. We're in the long game, and we're creating content and getting better at what we do. And the show's getting better and better. And it's just been an incredible run. I mean, to take you back a step, let's go back in the time machine. When I called you and we had that chat, and you're just like, had never heard of Cobrakai.
Yeah. No.
I was like, you're like, I don't know, but okay, interesting. And yeah, I like the Karate Kid. So I was like, well, let's just start with that. Let's just record the Karate Kid, see how it goes.
Yes.
If we flow well, and let's see how that goes. And if we lay that down and we like it, then you can watch the show and we can, okay, boom, boom, boom. Well, the date of that recording, our first recording, the Karate Kid, 1984, our scene by scene breakdown, June 17th, 2019.
Wow. An interesting time in recent history. Pretty much anything pre-COVID is like, wow, life was interesting before COVID, wasn't it? Life was good before COVID, wasn't it?
But that day, I mean, that's amazing. Then we would meet. We liked it. We had fun doing it. I wasn't done editing it, but I think you appreciated the process. It was fun to go down that rabbit hole. You watched the movie again for the first time in probably a long time.
Yes.
And then on the 27th of June, 2019, we laid down Cobrakai season 1, episode 1, Ace Degenerate, and because we used to do 2 at a time, season 1, episode 2, Strike First.
Wow.
And then you were in. We laid that in, and our first show would come out August 29th, 2019. That's when Let's Talk Cobrakai went out there to future fans.
Yeah.
So that's how long it's been. Just over 2 years.
Wow.
Give or take. Not quite 2.5, but not 2. And in that time, we've amassed, we're at mid 80s episodes, coming up on 100 episodes, probably in January or February. And we're at 100,000 downloads now. I can't believe it.
That's fantastic. And you could roughly do the
One more
math.
sip.
Yeah, me too. You can count the number of episodes divided by the number of downloads. You can get a rough guesstimate. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of where we're at. As far as YouTube goes, we're new to YouTube.
Oh, very new.
This is us now jumping on another platform, which is in addition to the podcast, because I like our listeners being able to have the variety now. You can watch us. You can watch us live. You can watch us later. You can forget about watching us. Just listen to us on the podcast. You can watch us on YouTube. Put the phone down. Just listen to us. There's a variety of options now to tune into our show at your leisure. At what any way you want to hear us through any platform. Now the world is your oyster on how you can do that. So I like that. I like that we give people a lot of opportunities and avenues to access our show.
Yeah. And I was very against YouTube, at least YouTube Live. I was thinking, well, we'll edit it like we do the show because, but it takes, we're 100 episodes in collectively, Just Curious Media. We're over 100 episodes and you're on all of That's a Crime, all of Let's Talk Cobrakai, and on half of seems like of Let's Talk Movies. Yeah. So we're kind of there in lockstep. And if you go back to like our 10th episode or 20th episode, I think we were still doing really good, but we were learning because there'd be times it's like, oh, wait, say that again, Sal. And, you cut to like 60 episodes, 70, 80. We're not doing that as much. And going live just makes us, I just feel like I'm back up on a stage, doing a Q&A at the film festival or being part of a Q&A of my own film. And it's like, you just go off the cuff and it's not going to be perfect. So I've surrendered the fact that there's an unedited, just live, unfiltered version of our podcast and living in YouTube. I'm cool with that now, knowing that we're always going to have our polished version on the podcast audio because, things happen or, oh, I said that wrong. I can reinsert, but I love having it. I personally don't watch podcasts on YouTube, but knowing there's audiences that do, I want to appeal to them as well. And when we have interviews, it's fun to have someone else and it's live. And, when we had Jason Kersey on, it was like that was really great having that interaction. So we are just in another platform now. And heck, you even mentioned TikTok the other day. And this is when I sound old. Like I know all the platforms, but TikTok, I've never TikToked. So,
well, that's a whole nother story. I don't know how our platform, I don't know how our content
bite size.
I don't know. If you've been around long enough dealing with technology, social media, the internet, the web in our hands and in our phones, you get to see certain trends.
Right.
You get to see certain things come and go. And I don't believe in being a slave to technology. I don't believe in being at the mercy of technology. I have all these ideas. Years ago, we were promised this technological future where technology would make our lives easier and more effortless, and we'd be able to lay back and let the robots do the work. Well, as we can see, that hasn't really happened. And I think for the most part, technology has just given us another chore. Half my life is I feel like I'm deleting emails, Right. So here we are today where I'm proud to say that I don't want to be a slave to technology, but I do appreciate the power of technology, the power of the web, the power of social media. And I do like the idea that people out there at their fingertips can access all of our shows, let alone Let's Talk Cobrakai. We got That's a Crime. We got Let's Talk Movies. So Just Curious Media is doing all kinds of stuff now across multiple platforms. Now, as far as TikTok goes,
well, I was kidding.
Who knows? No, seriously, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? I have no idea. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm just very grateful to be here.
Me too, man. Me too. Yeah, and this whole thing was really after making movies for as long as I did, doing the festivals. I thought about this long and hard. Initially, I don't think I've ever talked about this. Just Curious was going to be the name of my podcast. And I had this idea in 2015 and I already locked down the domain and it was just going to be Just Curious. And I was going to interview different people in the industry, entertainment industry, and about how they got to where they are. You know, I'm just curious. I'm a curious person. It's like, yeah, you know, I know you had all these breaks, but how did you get there? And talk about the struggles. And I love the rise, you know, not rise and fall. I love those stories too, rise and fall stories. But I mean, rags to riches, or someone still on the way up, right? Or someone who just kind of came down and they're going to go back up. So that was the initial plan. Ideas morph, you know, and it turned into, well, Just Curious could be the name of the company, but what am I going to be doing? And then I stumbled onto Cobrakai. And I figured I need to get some traction, learn everything about it. Like when I made it my first documentary, like understand how to record it, how to edit it, how to do every aspect of production, and then grow. And so to me, it was a lifestyle. I'm not in a race. It's like, you know, I just want to make this part of my life. I'm not trying to raise a bunch of money. I'm just trying to make these shows, look up one day, and, you know, there could be hundreds and hundreds of content that was created. And who knows, Cobra Kai, for instance, this great show, that show probably has an end date. You know, it's sad to think about, but there probably at some point in time is an end date. All shows do, all great shows do. This isn't a soap opera, although you could call this a soap opera, but you know what I mean? This isn't Days of Our Lives. There's going to be an end date to it.
Jason, now that you mention it, just today, I read a brief article talking about Cobra Kai. They were talking to
it was canceled.
Well, no. What the producers said about Cobra Kai specifically was that even though Netflix has only guaranteed up to season 5.
Yeah, I think I read this. Yeah.
Okay, you read this. That the showrunners have written beyond season 5.
Right. Yeah, but they have an end date in mind.
Well, what that implies though is that
even if but a story. Sorry.
Okay, remember Cobra Kai was on YouTube, then went to Netflix.
Yeah.
Who knows? There could be potential beyond Netflix that we haven't considered.
If they wanted the show to keep going, you could go to Amazon, you could go to Hulu. People, this is a hot property. Yeah. The problem is you don't want to dilute it too much. I mean, great shows go out on top, you know, Breaking Bad.
The famous story of Seinfeld is that he acknowledged that he wanted to go out on top. He didn't want to go to the other side of the hill into the lull.
Right.
He wanted to go out on top is what he wanted to do.
And a lot of shows go out on 5. I think Cobra Kai's got more life than that, but you know, 6 Feet Under, 5 was it's like, now's the time. Mad Men.
Yeah.
I think they went 5, but so I don't know when it's going to be, but at some point in time, there will not be a Cobra Kai show. Now, you and I truly believe this. There's lots of spinoffs in mind. And if they
trying to bring me down, Jason?
No. And I'm just saying, I'm so honored to be here. And I think the life though goes on. I'm not saying Cobra Kai ends at some point in time and Let's Talk Cobra Kai ends, because I think now more than ever, it's going to be in the universe and other generations are going to pick it up. So maybe our show continues on, but if there's a Miyagi-Do or something else that I'm passionate about, that's just a prong off of that and becomes its own show. I would absolutely do Let's Talk Miyagi or Let's Talk Miyagi-Do. I'm in. I'm already in.
So, I read another brief article. You know, I'm online so much, reading, you know, here and there so much. One talked about if there is going to be any spinoff, it's most likely going to be a young Miyagi.
Exactly.
That's where it's going to be. And I think you and I talked about that. And I think most fans, I think at this point would probably agree that would make the most sense as far as spinoffs, you know. I mean, believe me, lots of other spinoffs would be fantastic, would be great, would be fun. But that would probably make the most sense.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. But now, this isn't a spinoff episode. I'm just talking about the lineage of the show is what I was sharing, our show, and how we got here and how the success of Let's Talk Cobra Kai gave me the confidence and to move forward on the next show, which was Let's Talk Movies, and then Let's Know That's a Crime. And there's more to come. But again, it's a lifestyle. And it's fun to see that this little show, this little media company is reaching audiences. And to us, I mean, we owe it to our fans. They took us to 100,000 because unfortunately, Sal, hitting refresh or downloading them, you and I, multiple times over and over again, it only counts once.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, we'd be at 1 million by now.
Yeah. The web got used to that years ago. People are sitting at home clicking their YouTube video over and over and over and over. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, they're going by ISPs now, so we're all kind of screwed. What is it? One household, one vote is pretty much where it's at now.
Exactly. So, but it's cool. It's nice to see that it's really working. And of course, all the things that we're doing with the Apple Podcast reviews or social media post, or even now there's chatter on YouTube Live because we're getting some people on the channel to say some things. So yeah, I love it. Absolutely. It's a total thrill I was just telling Sophia earlier, like I love releasing episodes. It's like closure, but really just doing it is so fulfilling. If it wasn't, I wouldn't do it. Just being present, being in the moment, cranking on a new show. If we're dissecting an episode of Cobra Kai or doing a deep dive, step-by-step breakdown, scene by scene breakdown of a movie, or these, really original episodes that come up recently, filmographies of people to break down a little character from the movie. It's all so much fun. It really is.
Yeah. And the good news is I think the last couple of seasons, you and I explored so much as far as what ancillary licenses that relate and have the cross-pollination and all that. There's still more.
There's so much more
that we have not touched on. I mean, there's some things, next time you and I chat off the air, some videos, YouTube videos, there's all kinds of great stuff.
Go ahead. Tell me now.
Well, there's the Jacob Bertrand.
Right.
This thing is practically made by the cast and crew of Cobra Kai. I mean, I think produced by Williamzabka as well. It's a cool little short film starring Jacob Bertrand,
Hawk, Eli.
Yeah.
There's you were telling me, I remember this vividly last year, like, what are we going to cover? We're going to run out of special stuff. And I was like, Sal, don't even worry about it.
I did think that for a second. I did think that. What else is there?
And it's like, oh, there's this. And there's this. Yeah. I have like a folder full of show ideas and things that we can do. It's like,
Jason, did you know this? I just learned this the other day.
What's that?
Jacob Bertrand and Zolo Maridueña have a podcast.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Why didn't I know about this? I just learned this recently.
And they just hit 1 million downloads.
Wow.
That's okay though.
That's crazy.
A lot more followers than us.
I did not know about that until just recently.
Yeah. Well, let's get both of them on the show.
Let's get on their podcast. Let's be guests on their podcast.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Well, things are happening. We have had some wonderful interviews, more to come. And it's super exciting. And we're so close to season 4, which then is a whole other, you and I as fans just want to see where the show goes. I mean, this whole thing started because I fell in love with this show in an instant. I was a reluctant viewer, like, I'll put this episode on, but if it diminishes the Karate Kid in my mind, I'm out. And I was hooked. Yeah. So it had a huge impact on me. And here we are, many seasons later, on the cusp of season 4 and beyond. So I finished my drink, Sal.
Yeah.
But to you, my good man, my co-host.
Know what? That's cheers. Again, that's why I wanted to ask you about the scotch. I just learned about the Glencairn glass. You know about the Glencairn glass?
I do not.
The Glencairn glass is the official whiskey glass. Let me just read this real quick, because you know what? I just learned about it myself.
Us.
Well, hang on. I had it for a second. What happened to it? There it is. Okay, it's called the Glencairn. It's GLENCAIRN. Glencairn whiskey glass. And the reason I say this, when it comes to Cobra Kai or Karate Kid, really we should be drinking either one of two things: either Suntory whiskey or Coors Banquet, right?
Right. Yeah.
But in my pursuit of whiskey, I am a whiskey fan. I discovered the Glencairn whiskey glass. Okay. And just a couple quick paragraphs. History of the glass. Champagne, brandy, wine, each has its own glass. Yet whiskey, the world's most complex spirit, can be found served in anything from highball tumblers to Paris goblets. In 2001, Glencairn Crystal solved the problem of identifying the ideal glass for whiskey. Designed by Raymond Davidson nearly 25 years earlier, its development involved pulling together the master blenders from the 5 largest whiskey companies and asking them to perfect his initial design. Today, the Glencairn glass can be found at every distillery in Scotland, Ireland, Wales, as well as most in the USA. So I found out recently about the Glencairn glass. Bevmo sells it online. I found myself at a Bevmo. They did not have it in stock in person. But my next quest is to ascertain the Glencairn whiskey glass, the official the official whiskey glass.
Wow, I feel educated. Thank you for that. The Glencairn glass.
I'm gonna let you know when I got my hands on one.
As will I. So that's all I got. I want to thank any and everyone who's ever downloaded an episode. Honestly, you're the best.
You're the best around.
There you go. There you go. You're the best. And it means so much to us. And we're going to keep coming back, making more episodes. And hopefully we have a long run ahead of us still, Sal, as we cross the 100 mark in 2022 and beyond.
Yeah, because you know what? We're going to be with Cobrakai. I mean, like you said, even if Cobrakai ended today, there's still plenty of content to cover. So much. It's not like that's the end of it, you know? So yeah, there's, we are here. We're happy we're here. Thanks to our supporters, our Patreon supporters.
Yes.
We are here and we'll be here for a while, and hopefully have some nice Suntory whiskey next time you see me.
So thank you so much for listening, and please be sure to subscribe to Let's Talk Cobra Kai wherever you get your podcast. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on our social media, which is at Let's Talk Cobra Kai, as well as at Just Curious Media.
If you're a dedicated listener of Let's Talk Cobra Kai, consider supporting the show on Patreon. This greatly benefits us on many fronts and offers you access exclusive content. Sorry, let me do that again. This greatly benefits us on many fronts and offers you access to exclusive content and much more. We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.
No mercy.
That was the best no mercy yet.